Welcome to Zoe Stories. Dressing up was fun, until Mom made it permanent. I never thought a simple hobby could spiral into something I couldn't escape. But looking back, maybe the signs were always there. Maybe I was always meant to be someone else. My name is Ethan, and up until recently, I lived what most people would call a normal life. 24 years old, working a decent job in IT, sharing an apartment with my girlfriend, Emma, and doing my best to keep things together. On the surface, I wasn't anyone special. Just a quiet, introverted guy who kept his head down and did what was expected. But beneath the surface, I had a secret. A secret that started small, so small, in fact, that I didn't even recognize it for what it was at first. I was 14, the first time I felt it. I remember sitting in my sister's room while she was away at a friend's house. I had gone in to grab a charger she had borrowed, but my eyes caught on something else, a dress hanging on the back of her chair. It wasn't anything special, just a simple red dress she had worn to a party the weekend before. But for some reason, I couldn't look away. I reached out, hesitantly running my fingers over the soft fabric. Why did it feel so different? So forbidden? At that moment, a thought crept into my mind, so quiet, so fleeting, that I barely noticed it. What would it feel like to wear it? I shook the thought away, grabbed the charger, and left the room. But that night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Over the next few years, the curiosity grew. It started with small things, trying on a scarf, running my fingers over silk blouses while shopping with my mom, lingering just a little too long in the women's section at department stores. Then one night when I was 16, I finally gave in. I waited until the house was empty. My parents were at dinner, and my sister was out with friends. I snuck into her room, heart pounding in my chest, and pulled open her closet. The dress was still there. I slipped it over my head. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. I didn't just like the feeling of the fabric against my skin. I liked the way it transformed me. For the first time in my life, I felt different. Like I was stepping into someone else's skin. Like I was escaping. But that feeling came with a price. The rush was always followed by guilt, by fear. Every time I dressed up, I swore it would be the last time. I told myself it was just a phase, something I needed to get out of my system. But it never went away. By the time I met Emma, I thought I had everything under control. She was the kind of girl who seemed so effortlessly perfect. Confident, outgoing, always the center of attention. She was the type of person who made life look easy, like she had everything figured out. And somehow she loved me. I never wanted to mess that up. So I buried my secret. For 2 years, I kept it locked away. I never told her, never even hinted at it. Sure, the urge never disappeared, but I told myself it wasn't important. I had a good life, a great girlfriend. I didn't need this weird habit. But no matter how hard I tried to suppress it, the need always came back. It was late at night when I finally broke again. Emma had gone out with friends, leaving me alone in our apartment. The moment the door shut behind her, I felt it, the temptation, creeping up my spine like an itch I couldn't scratch. I tried to ignore it. I really did. I cleaned up, watched TV, played some games on my phone. But nothing helped. The closet was calling me. I walked to the bedroom, hesitating for only a moment before reaching for the door. My hands shook as I slid it open. Emma's clothes hung neatly inside, her dresses lined up perfectly, her heels stacked on the floor. I reached out, running my fingers over the fabric, my pulse thundering in my ears. Just one. Just for a moment. I pulled out a dress, a silky black one she had worn on our last date. I held it up against my body, looking at myself in the mirror. A shiver ran through me. This wasn't just about the clothes. It was about transformation. The thrill of stepping into something forbidden. The freedom of escaping my own skin. I couldn't stop myself. I stripped down and slipped the dress over my head. It fit me perfectly. A rush of emotions hit me all at once. Excitement, guilt, nervousness. My hands trembled as I smoothed the fabric against my body, turning from side to side in the mirror. Then, I spotted Emma's makeup bag on the dresser. I knew I shouldn't, but the temptation was too strong. I opened the bag, my fingers grazing over lipsticks, eyeliners, brushes. Carefully, I picked up a tube of lipstick and twisted it open. Bright red. The same shade Emma always wore when she wanted to feel powerful. I leaned closer to the mirror, my breath shaky, and applied a careful stroke of color to my lips. My heart pounded in my chest. Who was this person staring back at me? I barely had time to process it before my stomach dropped. The sound of keys jingling in the lock. Emma was home. My blood ran cold. I had seconds to react. Seconds. My hands fumbled as I grabbed at the dress, trying to pull it off. But the fabric clung to my skin, refusing to budge. The door swung open. Emma stepped inside, tossing her bag onto the couch. I could hear her humming to herself, completely unaware of the disaster waiting in the bedroom. I was trapped. And for the first time in my life, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a hobby. This wasn't just a phase. This was me. And if Emma found out, I might lose everything. Ethan's heart was slamming against his ribs. His entire body was frozen in place, panic wrapping around him like a vice. Think, think, think. Emma's footsteps were getting closer. She was humming to herself, completely unaware that just a few feet away, her boyfriend was standing in her dress, her lipstick, staring at his own reflection like a deer caught in headlights. He needed to move. Now. With a frantic tug, he yanked at the dress, but the silky fabric refused to budge. It was stuck. The zipper must have snagged. His hands were trembling so hard he could barely grip it properly. Emma was right outside the bedroom now. If she sees me like this, it's over. Everything is over. Ethan's eyes darted around the room. He needed an escape. The closet. Without thinking, he dove inside, pressing himself between rows of Emma's dresses, his breath coming in sharp, panicked gasps. He reached out and yanked the door shut, just as the bedroom door swung open. Silence. Then, footsteps. Ethan could see through the thin slats of the closet door as Emma entered the room. She tossed her jacket onto the bed, sighing as she sat down to remove her heels. Ethan pressed his hands over his racing heart, trying desperately to keep his breathing silent. Please don't come near the closet. Please don't. Emma stood up. She was walking toward him. Ethan squeezed his eyes shut, praying, begging, for a miracle. But then, she stopped. There was a pause. And then laughter. Ethan risked cracking one eye open, watching through the slats as Emma picked up her makeup bag from the dresser. She doesn't know. She didn't see anything. The relief was so overwhelming, he almost collapsed right then and there. Emma walked out of the room, completely oblivious to the fact that her boyfriend was hiding in her closet, wearing her dress and makeup. As soon as he heard the bathroom door click shut, Ethan burst out of the closet, yanking at the dress in a frenzy. It still wouldn't budge. Damn it. With no other choice, he grabbed a sweater from the dresser and threw it over himself, hoping it would cover most of the fabric. He wiped at the lipstick with his sleeve, smearing it across his cheek. He looked like a mess. But it didn't matter. All that mattered was getting out of there before Emma saw him. He bolted for the door, heart pounding, just as the bathroom door started to creak open behind him. He barely made it into the living room before Emma called out, "Ethan?" He froze. His back was to her. He could feel her eyes on him. Why did she sound suspicious? "You okay?" she asked. "You're acting weird." Ethan swallowed hard, forcing himself to calm down. "I am fine," he lied. "Just tired." There was a long pause. Too long. Then, "Hey," Emma's voice softened. "Are you sure? You look kind of flushed." Ethan forced a laugh. I was just running around looking for my phone. Got a little worked up, that's all." It was a terrible excuse, but Emma didn't press further. Not yet. Instead, she walked past him toward the kitchen. "All right," she said, grabbing a drink from the fridge. "Oh, by the way, have you seen my black dress? The silky one." Ethan's stomach dropped. If she looked in the bedroom now, she'd see it crumpled on the floor. He had seconds to stop her. Thinking fast, he grabbed his phone and faked a groan. "Ugh. I think I left my charger in the bedroom. Can you grab it for me?" Emma frowned but nodded. Yeah, sure. As soon as she disappeared into the bedroom, Ethan bolted for the bathroom. He locked the door, yanked off the sweater, and frantically worked at the dress again. This time, by some miracle, the zipper gave way. He ripped it off, tossing it behind the laundry basket. With shaky hands, he scrubbed at his lips, trying to get every trace of lipstick off. He didn't even bother looking in the mirror, he just needed to get back to normal. A knock at the door made him jump. You okay in there? Emma asked. Ethan took a deep breath. Act normal. Yeah, he called back. I'll be out in a sec. Another pause. Then, softer. All right. It wasn't until he heard her footsteps retreat that he allowed himself to breathe again. He had gotten away with it. But barely. And something told him that Emma wasn't convinced. Ethan thought he was safe. He thought he had covered his tracks, hidden every trace of what he had done. But he was wrong. Over the next few days, Emma started noticing things. At first, it was small. Her lipstick was twisted up slightly higher than she remembered. Her perfume bottle had been moved an inch to the left. A pair of her panties that she swore were in the laundry ended up in the wrong drawer. Nothing big enough to accuse Ethan outright, but just enough to make her suspicious. Ethan could feel it in the way she looked at him. Her eyes lingered on him a second too long, like she was studying him, like she was waiting. And that terrified him. He knew he should stop. He told himself every night, never again, it's too risky. But the thrill was too much. The pull was too strong. Every time Emma left for work, he found himself back in her closet, running his fingers over the dresses, feeling their soft fabric between his hands. It was a rush. The moment the lipstick touched his lips, the moment he stepped into her heels, he felt like someone else. Someone beautiful. Someone powerful. Someone who wasn't Ethan. And he couldn't resist. One evening, as they sat watching TV, Emma casually stretched and said, "Oh, babe, I bought a new lipstick today. Wanna see?" Ethan froze. His stomach twisted. She had never asked him something like that before. But he forced a smile, acting as normal as he could. Sure. She got up and came back holding a sleek, brand new lipstick tube. She twisted it up, revealing the smooth, untouched bullet of color. Ethan felt like he couldn't breathe. This wasn't just a new lipstick. This was a test. Emma was watching him too closely, like she was waiting for a reaction. Don't look guilty. Don't look guilty. Looks nice, he said casually. Emma's eyes narrowed ever so slightly. Then she did something that made his heart stop. She reached over and smeared the lipstick across his wrist. Just a small streak. Just a tiny mark. But Ethan almost flinched. She was watching him, watching his every reaction. And then she smiled. See? That shade would actually look really good on you. Ethan forced a laugh. Yeah, right. Emma didn't say anything. She just kept smiling. And that was when Ethan knew. She was on to him. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. His mind kept racing. Had she really figured it out? Was she just testing him? Was this all in his head? He told himself to lay low, to stop. But the next afternoon, when Emma left for a coffee date with her friend, the urge was too strong. One last time. He told himself it would be quick. He went to the closet, slipping into one of Emma's silk nightgowns, feeling the way it hugged his body. He swiped on some of her red lipstick, letting the color bring a rush of excitement to his veins. He felt alive. But then, a car door slammed. Ethan's blood ran cold. Footsteps. The front door unlocking. Emma was back early. He had seconds to react. He bolted toward the bathroom, heart slamming against his ribs. He barely made it inside before the front door swung open. Emma's voice echoed through the apartment. Ethan? He gritted his teeth. He couldn't let her see him like this. Moving frantically, he grabbed a towel, scrubbing at the lipstick. The stain wouldn't come off completely, damn it. He yanked off the nightgown, shoving it behind the laundry basket. His hands were still covered in makeup. No time. The bathroom handle jiggled. You in there? Emma called. Ethan forced his voice to sound normal. Yeah, just using the bathroom. Okay. He waited, breath caught in his throat. Then, she walked away. Ethan leaned against the sink, heart racing. He had gotten away with it again. But just barely. And then he saw it. A single red lipstick stain on the sink. His stomach dropped. Did Emma see it? Or had he wiped it away in time? He didn't know, and that terrified him. That night, Ethan tried to act normal. Emma was quiet. Too quiet. And then, out of nowhere, she said, "Babe, can I ask you something?" Ethan swallowed hard. "Sure." Emma looked him dead in the eyes. "Have you been wearing my clothes?" Silence. Ethan's entire body locked up. The air felt thick, suffocating. This was it. The moment he had dreaded. He had two choices. One, lie. Two, tell the truth. Ethan opened his mouth, and nothing came out. Emma's expression softened. "I'm not mad," she said gently. "I just want to know." Ethan couldn't breathe. The weight of his secret was crushing him. And then, he whispered, "Yes." The word felt like a bomb going off. Emma didn't flinch. Instead, she leaned forward and asked, "Do you like it?" Ethan's throat felt tight. He didn't know what to say. But deep down, he knew the answer. Yes. Yes, he liked it. He loved it. And that terrified him. Emma studied his face for a long time. Then, she smiled. Not cruel. Not mocking. Just soft. "Okay," she said. Ethan blinked. "Okay." Emma nodded. "If you like it," she said slowly, "then why don't we make it permanent?" Ethan's heart stopped. His blood turned ice cold. "But," he stammered. Emma's smile widened. "You love dressing up," she said. "You love makeup. You love looking pretty." She leaned in, brushing her fingers down his arm. "So, why not just stay this way?" Ethan's head spun. Was she serious? Or was this some kind of trap? Emma's eyes gleamed. "I could help you," she said. Her voice was too sweet. Too knowing. Ethan tried to speak, tried to protest, but he couldn't. Because deep down, a part of him was intrigued. And Emma knew it. She saw right through him. Her smile widened. And she whispered, "Let's start right now." Ethan felt like the walls were closing in. His secret was out. And Emma wasn't just okay with it. She was taking control. His mind screamed at him to say no, to stop this now before it went any further. But his body betrayed him. His pulse raced. His skin flushed. And Emma knew. She saw it in his eyes. The fear, the hesitation, and the desire. She leaned in closer, her fingers tracing slow, teasing circles on his wrist. "You like it, don't you?" Ethan tried to shake his head. Tried to deny it. But Emma just smiled. A knowing, sly smile. "Then let's make it permanent," she whispered. Ethan's breath hitched. Permanent. That word sent a shiver down his spine. And then, before he could protest, Emma grabbed his hand and led him to the bedroom. His feet felt heavy, like he was walking towards something inevitable. Something dangerous. Something he wanted. The second they stepped inside, Emma shut the door with a click. She turned to him, her arms crossed. "Take off your clothes," she commanded. Ethan's heart stopped. What? Emma's smile didn't waver. "You love dressing up, don't you?" she said, tilting her head. "So, let's do it. Properly." Ethan hesitated. He should refuse. He should walk away. But his hands were already moving. Slowly, hesitantly. He reached for the hem of his shirt and pulled it over his head. Emma's eyes darkened. "Good boy," she purred. Ethan's breath came out shaky. This was real. She wasn't just testing him. She was serious. And he was letting this happen. Emma moved effortlessly. She walked over to her closet, rifling through her dresses. Then, with a triumphant smile, she pulled out a silky pink slip dress. She turned to Ethan, holding it up. "This one," she said. "It'll fit you perfectly." Ethan swallowed. His throat was dry. But before he could say a word, Emma had already stepped behind him. Her hands ghosted over his bare shoulders, making him shiver. Then, slowly, she slid the dress over his head. The silk felt cool against his skin. Soft. Light. Dangerous. Ethan exhaled sharply as the fabric settled around his body. Emma stepped back, admiring him. Beautiful, she whispered. Ethan's face burned, but he couldn't deny the rush that filled his chest. He felt different. He felt right. And Emma knew it. She walked over to the vanity, grabbing a makeup brush. Sit, she commanded. Ethan hesitated. But then, slowly, he lowered himself onto the stool. Emma stood behind him, a smirk on her lips. Let's make you even prettier. And then she started. The first touch of foundation sent a thrill through Ethan's body. He sat perfectly still, watching in the mirror as Emma worked. She was focused, precise. She knew what she was doing. Every brush stroke, every dab of color, it all felt deliberate. She was reshaping him, turning him into something else, into someone else. The blush dusted across his cheeks, giving him a soft, feminine glow. The eyeliner, sharp, dark, made his eyes pop. And the lipstick, God. Emma took her time with the lipstick. She held his chin, tilting his face just so. Then, with slow, deliberate strokes, she painted his lips a deep crimson. When she was finished, she leaned back, admiring her work. Perfect, she murmured. Ethan couldn't breathe. He barely recognized himself. The person staring back at him in the mirror was gorgeous, delicate, feminine. Emma leaned in, whispering against his ear. This is who you are. Ethan shuddered. He felt trapped, exposed, vulnerable. And yet, he loved it. Emma wasn't done. She walked over to the closet again, this time pulling out a pair of nude high heels. Ethan's stomach tightened. You want me to wear those? He whispered. Emma grinned. You want to wear them, she corrected. Ethan's face burned. But when she held them out to him, he took them. With trembling fingers, he slipped his feet inside. The heels were tight, tall, unfamiliar. Emma reached for his hands, pulling him up. Now, she said. Walk. Ethan wobbled. Emma laughed. Careful, sweetheart, she teased. You'll need practice if you're going to do this full-time. Ethan's heart pounded. Full-time? She was serious. He tried to protest. Tried to tell her this was just for fun. But the words died on his lips. Because deep down, he wasn't sure if he wanted to stop. And Emma knew it. Emma circled him, her eyes glowing. You need a name, she mused. Ethan blinked. What? A new name, she said. Something that suits the new you. Ethan's stomach flipped. He shook his head. No, this is just a game, right? Emma raised an eyebrow. Is it? She whispered. Ethan froze. Was it? Was this just a game? Or had he already crossed the line? Emma reached out, tracing a finger down his painted cheek. Come on, sweetheart, she purred. Tell me your name. Ethan's throat tightened. He didn't have an answer. But then, out of nowhere, the name spilled from his lips. Ellie. Emma's smile was pure satisfaction. Ellie, she repeated, letting the name roll off her tongue. Perfect. And just like that, Ethan was gone. Ellie had taken his place. As Ethan, no, Ellie, stood there in the mirror, reality crashed down on him. Was this really happening? Was he really changing? Emma stepped behind him, wrapping her arms around his waist. You don't have to fight it anymore, she whispered. You can just be her. Ellie's breath was shaky. His hands clenched at the silk fabric of the dress. Was this what he wanted? Or was this what Emma wanted him to become? Either way, there was no turning back. Emma leaned in, pressing a kiss to his cheek. And then, she whispered something that sent shivers down his spine. Tomorrow, we're going shopping for your new wardrobe. Ellie's stomach flipped. He should have protested. Should have said no. But instead, he nodded. Because deep down he knew Emma had won. And Ethan was never coming back. The next morning, Ellie, woke up to the soft rustling of shopping bags. For a brief moment, he forgot everything. The dress. The heels. The makeup still lingering on his skin. But then, Emma's voice cut through the haze. Rise and shine, sweetheart, she purred. We've got a big day ahead. Ellie sat up, his heart pounding. This was real. Emma hadn't changed her mind. And neither had he. Or had he? A small, distant part of him screamed to fight back. to reclaim his old life before it was too late. But when Emma set a pink lingerie set on the bed, his stomach flipped. "We'll start with this," she said casually. "Then, I'll help you with your makeup again, before we head out." Ellie stared at the delicate fabric, his hands trembling. "This is too much," he whispered. Emma tilted her head. "Is it?" she asked. Ellie's throat tightened. Was it? Or had he already crossed the point of no return? Emma sat beside him, placing a gentle hand on his thigh. "You don't have to fight this," she said softly. "You don't have to pretend anymore." Ellie looked up, meeting her gaze. Her smile was warm, almost reassuring. But beneath it, there was something else. Something possessive. Ellie swallowed hard. This wasn't just about dressing up anymore. This was about control. And Emma had all of it. 2 hours later, Ellie found himself standing outside a boutique. He was fully dressed in the outfit Emma picked, a tight pink top, a pleated white skirt, and the same towering heels from last night. The world felt too big, too real. People passed by, some glancing at him, some not noticing at all. Ellie felt exposed. "What if someone recognizes me?" he whispered. Emma smirked. "Then they'll only see a beautiful girl," she teased. Ellie's face burned. But when Emma took his hand and led him inside, he didn't resist. The store was filled with racks of feminine clothes, dresses, skirts, lingerie. Ellie's stomach churned. Emma was serious about this. She wasn't just making him play dress up anymore. She was replacing Ethan entirely. A saleswoman approached, smiling. "Looking for something special today?" she asked. Emma grinned. "Yes, my girlfriend here needs a full wardrobe." Ellie's blood ran cold. Girlfriend. The word hung in the air, suffocating him. The saleswoman's smile widened. "Of course. Let's start with some dresses," she said, leading them deeper into the store. Ellie felt his legs weaken. This was really happening. Ellie stood in the fitting room, staring at himself in the mirror. The dress clung to his body, shaping him into something new. Something soft, feminine, permanent. His breathing was shaky. He should take it off. He should walk away now before it was too late. But then, Emma's voice drifted through the curtain. "Let me see." Ellie hesitated. Then slowly he stepped out. Emma's eyes lit up. "You're perfect," she whispered. Ellie's heart pounded. Was he? Or was he just losing himself? But then, Emma did something that sealed his fate. She pulled out her phone and took a picture. "Emma, don't." Ellie gasped. But it was too late. She smirked, waving the phone. "Relax," she said. "It's just for us." Ellie shook. She had proof now. He was trapped. And Emma knew it. She stepped closer, brushing her lips against his ear. "Face it, sweetheart," she whispered. "Ethan is gone. Ellie is all that's left." Ellie's breath hitched. Because deep down, he knew she was right. And the scariest part? He wasn't sure he wanted to fight anymore. Ellie's heart pounded as Emma's phone screen lit up, the picture of him in the dress staring back at him like a ghost of his former self. "You wouldn't," he whispered, his voice barely holding together. Emma smirked, tilting her head. "Wouldn't I?" she teased, waving the phone in front of his face. Ellie felt his stomach drop. "Emma, please," he choked out. She stepped closer, her voice dripping with satisfaction. "You've already taken the first step, babe," she murmured. "Why turn back now?" Ellie's breath was shaky. Everything inside him screamed to fight back, to run, to grab the phone, to end this. But then, Emma's thumb hovered over the screen. "One wrong move," she said sweetly, "and everyone sees this." Ellie's world spun. His knees went weak. Emma leaned in, pressing a soft, lingering kiss to his cheek. "Now be a good girl," she whispered, "and let's go buy you more pretty things." Ellie's lips parted. He wanted to say no, but his voice wouldn't come. Instead, Emma took his hand, leading him back into the store, his mind racing with one terrifying realization. He had lost all control, and there was no way back.